Good morning, Team Year 7. Okay, so first things first, you'll need to be able to go into Microsoft Forms. The easiest way to do that is to go into Zenith if you don't already know how to do this. Peninsula, and then click Office 365 on the top here, and it will obviously go through all the login rubbish. And then you should just be able to click on Forms down here or wherever it is on yours. This will load up Forms. Now, I will be sending you a link to these three forms here. Number and place value year 7, number and place value year 8. Now, what it will do, it will duplicate these. So it won't use my versions. I will be sending you a link for duplication. So the most important thing is don't send those links to your students. What you'll need to do is, so for example, go to number and place value. When you load up your version, click on share and then send and collect responses. Only people in my organization respond, and click copy. You'll need to do the same for year 6, year 7 and year 8. Do not do this share as template or share to collaborate. You want to send and collect responses. So having done that, I'm in my number and place value pre and post test. Then my year 6 questions are here. And you'll notice I've got one response. Now the first thing to do is when you click on this test, let's click somewhere in here, you'll notice it says settings. So once you've got your own version set up, you'll notice you've got down here options for responses. Number 1, make sure that it says accept responses. 2, that you can only people in your organization can respond, and only one response per person. And you'll need to set a start date and a time. So whatever date and time we're going to do this, and I will look it up because I can't remember off the top of my head, you'll set that date and a start time, and you'll set an end date and a start time. It is very important that you then click shuffle questions, okay, and make sure it says all questions, because that will make sure, or at least try and reduce the opportunity of the students cheating. Sadly, there's not very much we can do outside of that. So having got all of those options set, you can share it before you set those options. It doesn't make any difference. You'll send the pro forma email that I will give you, and then the kids will sit the test. Once it is complete, you should then have a number of responses. So when you click on the responses tab, you'll notice here that there was one response with an average score of 4 and the status is closed. The two most important buttons are probably this review answers and the one here that says open in Excel. So once all of your students have marked it, I have set it up such that a fair number of the questions will be auto-marked. That doesn't mean that they will be correct. I would suggest skimming it. It's really important to make sure that the students have put in answers in the right format. Now, at the moment I've said here, for example, write down the value of the first 4 prime numbers, place a space between each answer, okay? I think the more updated one, I'm gonna put a space between each answer and put them in numerical order, something along those lines. Now, obviously, if they miss the fact, if they do it 3, 2, 5, 7, the fact that I've said put a space between each answer isn't because it is required that they are put in numerical order. It's just I have set the mark scheme to auto mark 2 space 3 space 5 space 7. If they do it the other way around because they miss this instruction, I don't fully understand what that instruction is, you're still going to have to check, okay? I don't think it's fair for us to auto mark answers that are in fact correct. So you'll need to keep a copy of both the question book and the answer book next to you. Remember, a lot of the answers will have multiple values, and the only way you're going to know that is to use the question book. So maybe you want to skim the question book and go through and highlight those that have multiple answers. So how do you mark each of your students? You basically hit review answers. What will come up is that section, and you'll say people, Darren Smith. Now obviously all of yours will list with all of your group. It tells you how long it took me to complete it and the auto marked score of 4 out of 27. Now what you'll notice here, it says auto graded. That means that the computer has graded it for me and has allocated 1 of 1 point. Now if I want to, I can write a little comment and say, well done, Darren. Probably not got the time to do that again, but when it says write a sentence which explains what composite numbers are, this is what I have written. You'll notice it says it isn't auto graded. I put that 1 in there, okay? I don't know whether there are any values down here where it says you need to grade it, because I think I only did a couple of questions just to test it worked, okay? But I think at the bottom here, it actually comes up in red, and I think this box is blank from what I remember, and that's what you need to look down. So for every student, you effectively will need to look down all of the answers. It is not as quick as answering those other sheets, I get that. But unfortunately, this is probably the best we're going to do. Having done that, you will then move to the Year 7, Year 8, and Year 9. You can do questions. So if you want to, you can actually write down or do the answers to all of question 1 first. That probably is going to be quicker. And to be perfectly honest with you, that's new. That was not there a couple of days ago when I saw this. Okay, so it might be even easier there to do all of question 1 first, all of question 2 first, all of question 3, and auto grade it. Once that's done, go back. Now this post scores business, I don't fully know what that's all about. I don't fully understand. You can obviously post their status and, sorry, I'll go back to that for a moment. You can post the number of points or the number of marks they got correct for each one. That's totally up to you. I don't mind whether we do that or not. I probably prefer not to. Once you've done that and you've marked them all, then you will need to open this in Excel. And it will say, we're opening this in Excel, and it will download it. You can't see it at the moment because it's slightly off the screen. I'm not recording that section of my screen. When you click open, however it downloads, obviously if you use Chrome, it'll be down the bottom. It'll load up Excel. And then what will happen? The file is corrupt and cannot be opened. That wasn't very useful. So when you click opening in Excel, you will get all of the results. Now don't worry about the results or what have you. Hopefully it will say for each question 1 mark. There we go, points right down there. So the good news is I will then be able to strip all of this out. As soon as you've got this spreadsheet and it's completely populated, then you'll obviously need to send it to me. Yeah, so at the moment I click on enable editing. I'm not sure you can see that. Let's try and make it smaller. That's Bailey in the background. So what you will do is click enable editing, which was along here, and my advice is to hit that button there that says email, and then it should open Outlook and send the email to me. And as soon as I've got all of those, I can put them all together and effectively just strip out all the information that I need and process the results for you. Now, that's going to take some time. So as I said in the email, it would be greatly appreciated if you guys can sort of mark this as swiftly as you can, because until that's all happened from all 7 of you, there's not much I can do to provide the results. Okay, so that's, fingers crossed, everything you need. If there's anything you need to know, let me know. Again, most important point is do not share the links I send you. Import the forms into your own. Open each of them up. Make sure that you do settings to change the start date, end date, shuffle questions, etc. And then share your links in the pro forma email that I'm going to send you. Thanks very much. Let's see how this works, and I'll look for feedback soon.